Welcome to the Scandal Podcast. I'm your host, Jaha Knight, and tonight we have two guests. We have Langstan Smith and Jazzy Jones from BeBlogalicious, and they are joining me for the More Cattle, Less Bull episode of Scandal. How are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Calling in from Chicago.
And where are you, Jazzy? Where are you, Jazzy?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
You're in D.C.? I used to
you're
live
not
there.
Yes.
She's in the heart. She's in the heartland.
Happening?
Where's all happening? I'm in Atlanta. Stuff happens down here too.
Yeah.
I just don't be knowing about it. So what were your impressions of tonight's episode, Langstan?
Oh wow! I mean, they came with it. They got me a little nervous in the first few minutes of the show because with them being in because at first I didn't realize where they were. But once I realized where they were, I got a little nervous because I was like, "How are y'all gonna get out of this?" Because this, you in the lion's den.
I know that's right.
You're in the middle of the hell and the high water. What are you gonna do?
How are you gonna get out? Send for a rowboat.
Right.
What was your impression of the episode, Jazzy?
It started off as like somewhat of a roller coaster, but the ending, how come I'm not surprised at how that whole thing played out with how Olivia's mom might have been on that plane?
I kind of figured that the whole time.
Normally I'd be like, but I was like, okay, it's the mom. Now I gotta wait till next week to find out what was down. So much. So.
But y'all remember?
I'm ready for next week.
Y'all remember one episode? It did hashtag October Surprise. So this is the last day of October.
Right,
so that was our October surprise. And I kind of expected that because we were sitting in the room and my daughter was like, I told her everything that happened right before it happened. She was like, how did you know that? I'm like, why would it not be obvious that they were going to be talking about Olivia Mom? They had hinted at it all season. So
actually all summer.
Yeah. So clearly it was going to be that. So what were your three highlights that kind of stood out for you this episode, Langstan?
First one being, and it was a hoot. It cracked me up. Was when they, and I'm sorry, right now I can't remember the name of the little town they went to. But when they went to the little town where they were trying to, cover up her whole situation about the baby, and they beat Cyrus's guy there. And when he called Cyrus, it said, and Cyrus, he's like, "Sir, are you there? I can hear you breathing." He's like, "I'm breathing. I'm trying not to have a heart attack." But when he said, "What happened?" He said, "She has people here." And then I died because he said, "Sir, we were poked." I was like, "That's exactly what you were. That's exactly what happened. You were poked."
And you know what the funny part about that is, when I was watching that and Cyrus called, well, everybody was watching it, but when Cyrus called and asked Olivia to check the information out for them or whatever, and Olivia knew that she, had been hired by this woman already, I thought that was pretty neat. She was just like, what information? She was playing all coy. I thought that was awesome. What was your second big moment?
Second big moment, I would have to say, is the when Olivia returned to the office. It would seem like it would be insignificant, but it was actually, it was kind of telling that, when she told him that she forgot her phone, and he's like, "But you're holding your phone," and they just called her out about the Fitz phone.
Jake is always calling her out. He's a jerk.
Right. Yeah, I kind of really, a lot of people were feeling him over the more wine situation last week, but I wasn't.
I never feel it for Jake. Never.
But you know what? But the kicker was when she tossed it in the phone. I mean, tossed it in the trash. And then later, like literally, like desperately goes for it when it rings. So
Oh,
that was a big moment right there because I
there
knew
was
what.
a tweet that I saw that had this older lady with her entire body in a trash bin, and it said, "This is going to be Olivia later." That was my favorite. That was
Right,
hilarious.
because
So, yeah.
she was digging for that phone. She was digging for that phone.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I and oh, and the video of Fitz talking with
Rowan.
Rowan.
Mhm.
I was actually surprised that there was some footage of that, but I guess I shouldn't be because of course he's going to have his whole situation under surveillance, and so
I
they
think he knew that Rowan. I
Jake.
almost combined their names. Yeah, Joe and Rowan. Yeah, I think he knew that Jake was in his house. I mean, why
I
would
think
he
so.
not?
I think so too, and because I also was thinking when when I was like, how did he get out of there so quick? And then you
Mhm.
discover that he's hiding behind the doors. Like, come on now, if he was able to detect that
Yeah.
that Huck was following him, he knew you were behind that door. Plus, Huck is in your ear talking about, did you get it? Did you get it? And I'm like, Huck, shut up! And then he actually was stupid enough to say
Responded.
he was actually
Yes, I
stupid enough
got
to
it.
respond. Yeah, I got it. What?
I'd be like, I would have said a word. What about you, Jazzy? What were your three highlights from tonight?
Same thing. I echo with Langstan. I had the same reaction when Ethan was talking to Cyrus on phone. I was actually surprised that Cyrus didn't go off in his yelling rage that he always does. Like,
Mhm.
and then he loses his breath, and then he's like, so, but yeah, we've been poked. I love that. I mean, I'm definitely using that in the future sentence.
We've been
And then
poked.
um, the second one for me was when Secret Service agent Hal went up to make that nod to Olivia. You know, she's
I
thinking
knew
she's going
it
back
was
there to
Melly.
have her
I
little
knew
one-on-one
it.
with the
Did
president.
The what?
actually, I was actually blown away by that because that was not at all what I was expecting. Because
Really?
I didn't think Melly had access to Tom. I knew she had access to the other one. What's his name? Hank? Is
She
that his
always
name?
has access
Ah,
to all of them. But
Yeah.
yeah. But I
look,
mean,
I knew it was Melly. I knew it was.
Tom always plays her to the left because it was like I just remember during what I think it was season 2 when she was trying to find out what was up, and it was always Tom that would kind of always look off to the left, like I ain't telling you. But
I was not expecting Melly at all.
But
but
you could
I
tell it was
thought
gonna
that
be
was another
Melly.
friend.
but
No,
what's
you could tell. You could tell because when he did that, to me, I was like, okay, Fitz just talked to Olivia on the phone. He's about to give this big speech. It is not Fitz. It's got to be Melly. Who
yeah.
else would it be? It sure as heck wasn't going to be Cy. Cy would just came up to the table and said and pulled her aside. But it had to be Melly. I mean, to me, it was obvious. But
But I'm out. But I tell you another surprising thing for me, and I guess it shouldn't have been, but um, I guess just in the way that she approached it is probably what was more surprising to me.
oh, the way
Was
Melly
when
approached it.
no, not that too, but I was moving towards Sally. I was actually surprised. That was another big moment. Was
Oh yeah, that was
Sally
surprising.
approaching the guy about running as an independent? That was surprising to me because I can't say that I thought that she had given up on any aspirations towards being president. I just thought that she would just let the whole situation just kind of run its course,
What
kind of
about you,
situation.
Jazzy? Did you think that Sally would jump in and try to run independent? I knew Sally would do would you know Jazzy.
Say that again. You kind of muted in and out there for a second.
Oh, I said, did you actually think that Sally would jump in and try to run independent?
Sally,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure that woman out. I mean, I mentioned on Twitter like I like the chess move that she made as far as trying to switch over to the independent party because she wanted to be president at all costs necessary. But other people mentioned that was just like a dirty move on her part. She should stay on this team. So I'm still trying to figure Sally out.
Well, I knew from the Scandal Rewind from the summertime that she wouldn't stay on the team. She didn't want to, and Fitz has lied to her too many times for her to feel like it is a good idea for her to be a part of the team. And he uses her. It's almost like he trots her out like a show dog whenever it's necessary for him to get that Christian whatever wing that is, because I can never
the Christian values that she held so dear.
Exactly. So he only trots her out when he needs her, and she doesn't like that. So I mean, what powerful woman would like that? But seeing as her marriage is on the rocks, I wouldn't.
Yeah, she felt like she was in this thing by herself the whole time anyway. Because like she never really had the support of Fitz and Cyrus from day one, ever since she lost her chance to get her Supreme Court nominee.
I mean, heck, look.
She made that threat to Cyrus that she was in it for herself.
And she also had a murdering chief of staff. I mean, you can't really. How can you come back from that?
But did she really have anything to do with that?
But you never know. You never know. You don't know. It could be.
Exactly. That's what the thing about this show is. We're not going to find out till 30 episodes later.
Right. But yeah, it always some twister spin comes through in the flashbacks, and you're always like, wow, okay, now it makes sense. But yeah, there was a lot going on in tonight's episode, because now I'm even left with the way that the new Lisa Kudrow character, and unfortunately I haven't locked her name in yet, because I'm not sure how long
her name is Congresswoman Josie Martin.
Okay, so Josie Martin, the way they left it this evening, this could have been just really seriously just a cameo for Lisa Kudrow, because now they've kind of brought it up and set it up that okay, now Sally's gonna jump in. So now with this life-altering situation with the congressman revealing that her sister is actually her daughter now.
That was my shocking moment. That one. I didn't see that coming for some reason. I was like, what?
Right. And that, you know what? That was it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming until it was like almost there, and I was like, oh.
But you know what? They didn't make me like Lisa Kudrow enough to care. Like I just didn't care that was her daughter, sister, wife, whatever. I didn't care. So. Right, and
that's the other thing. That's why I almost feel like, okay, now it's just a cameo, because we went from her running to her revealing this big secret to her firing Olivia, and then bam, now Fitz and Melly want her back. So,
but look, in the middle of this, when she did reveal that information to America, Cyrus said, and this is one of my favorite quotes, she just won America's hearts. Olivia Pope, the gift that just keeps on giving.
Right.
So that's, she's in there. She is in there. So you can have Sally, Lisa, and Fitz. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there are always multiple candidates, and somebody always gets booted along the way. But at the same time, I almost feel like she... maybe once the polls come out, then she'll be like, okay. But I think right now her focus is, how do I fix this relationship that I just blew out of the water by not being smarter? Because she really can't blame Olivia for that, because Olivia told her. Olivia said, you need to get in front of this, and she chose not to. And she said, because someone else, if we can find it, someone else can find it. And then the only reason you chose to say something is because someone was about to blast you out of the water right there on stage. So that was her fault. Because Olivia did warn her and tell her she should do it now before she got out in front of the cameras. And unfortunately, so yeah, I thought it was kind of odd for her to fire Olivia the way that she did, when it was actually her not listening that put her in that situation.
She was mad.
Right. True, but it was her fault, though.
Begging for her back.
It was like, no, we're not going to work. Harrison's like, what you talking about? So I was dancing about the lights last episode.
But check it out. Ultimately, she's got 2 bidders, And if old boy, who basically looked like he was trying to turn Sally down too, then she's gonna have three bidders. So it's like, who is Olivia gonna end up backing? Is she gonna stay loyal to Fitz, or is she gonna, go back to the Congresswoman, or will Sally?
And look, if I was Olivia, I would go ahead and go with Fitz so I can get me a little care package in on the side, in the closet, whatever you gotta do, because I definitely would not be working for Lisa Kudrow. Lisa Kudrow didn't even look like she had combed her hair for this episode. It looked like she was just straight running through the woods from Friends, and she landed on the set with Shonda, Rhimes, and the rest of the OP crew. She looked a mess the whole episode. Like, did nobody comb your hair? Olivia she's doing this to your hair. Don't you feel bad that somebody got to do this to your hair while you stand in front of them? That's because you look a damn mess. I mean, it was obvious. But okay, so was the case for this episode compelling to you all, and why?
I have to say that, ultimately the bottom line is, and I'm sorry, what was the tagline again? Tell me the tagline.
More cattle, less bull. Episode?
Yeah, because ultimately that's what it felt like. There was a lot of cattle going on. There was so much going on in this situation. And
there's always so much going on in Scandal, but I think that referred more to Montana because Montana was the state that she was from. Right.
And I also felt like it had double meaning because there was a lot of there's a lot of cattle running into the game now, because now they got the Congresswoman, then you got Fitz and them trying to get ready, and then all of a sudden now Sally's wanting to get in. So
and you never know if Edison's coming in.
Oh wow, now that would be crazy.
It would be awesome if Edison came in. But Edison is a Democrat, and the two Democrats on here now is Lisa Kudrow and Reston. So if Edison did come in, but
they could still throw Edison in there. But
he could run as independent with Sally.
But it would be a whole lot of drama if Reston came back into the situation, because
Reston's already in the situation. He's running against Lisa Kudrow.
Oh, did I miss
Democratic
that? Did I miss that?
He's the one that was trying to out. He tried to out Lisa Kudrow at the podium when they were doing the debate, and that's when she just decided to say something about it. But Reston is running against her.
We won't discuss why I missed that, but you know why.
Jazzy, she laughed and she called.
No, Jazzy, to clarify, it was a Google situation. That's all it was. I just I see a lot coming down the pike, and definitely. It seems like I'm just wondering, because I got a little nervous. I'll tell you another significant moment was I actually got a little nervous when Jake was walking down the street talking to Huck, and the trucks pulled up.
Oh, I just knew it was Rowan, because he shouldn't have broken into his house.
I did too. I thought he was. I literally thought he was about to get back in the hole.
He should. I'll throw him in there if they need me to. I'll be B613 for an episode. I will throw Jake in the hole with great happiness. Jazzy, you better jump on in here. She's like, I'm Jazzy. I ain't saying nothing. You better talk. What was the game-changing moment for tonight for y'all?
The game changer for me was Melly. I mean, when she went, because like I said, I was surprised. You said you weren't surprised, but I was actually surprised because, like I said, I didn't think she had that kind of access to Tom, because that's the thing. We always knew
Tom be shading her, huh?
Because Tom always giving that left eye look, like I don't see you. You could ask me whatever you want to. Talk to Hal, and Hal will give it up in a minute. I call
not need to be Secret Service.
I call Hal old roll eye, because every time Melly asks him a question, his eyes roll up in his head like, I know, but don't ask me, not in front of Tom, And it's like, but again, like I said, I didn't think she had that kind of access to Tom. So surprisingly, when Olivia went, waltzing up through there with that little bounce in her step, like,
I
yeah.
love that dress and that walk. That girl can walk. Olivia Pope, Kerry Washington can walk.
She had that bounce, and you saw that look on her face.
She's
when
like,
she
I'm about to go get me some in this little room over here.
And she came around that corner, and Melly.
No, Fitz want me. I look good.
Right, Melly stepped out in that red dress. I said, damn. That's all I could say. I said, oh my God, I was not expecting that. So then, so that to me, her stepping out there, and then what was surprising was when she said, "We need you back." I was like, "Well, what?" That was the last.
She was gonna warn her off.
Yeah, I thought she was.
Her Fitz's little whore for like episodes now.
Right. And I was actually expecting one of those long, speeches about, I know you know how Melly gets. She gets that. She gets all throaty with it. She goes into Darth Vader. How dare you? Don't you ever come near my husband again?
But you know why I think she did that? When Fitz was hiding in the bathroom from her and on the phone with Olivia, and she said, he said to her, "I'm hiding from Melly. I'm in the bathroom." And Olivia was like, "I just dug the phone out of the trash can." And then they just started talking about the speech that he had to give. And you saw Melly standing there at the corner of the door listening to him talk to Olivia on the phone and how happy he was. And she could see the shift. Like when the guy came in, I don't remember his name, the guy that they were trying to get to basically be Olivia.
Right.
When he came in and the guy was like, well, honestly, he doesn't want it. And I'm not getting on a losing ship. And I'm not going. The only reason I'm here is because you can't get Olivia. I'm not doing it. So when he did that and started talking about all the reasons Fitz would lose, I think combined with those things, Melly is always after the greater good of what Melly wants. She wants to be the first lady, and that's the office that she signed up for when she signed on to Fitz. So she's doing everything that she needs to make sure that happens. So that to me was a great moment.
Right.
What do you think, Jazzy? What was a game-changing moment for you this episode?
The game changer for me was actually two things. One was when Melly stepped to ask Olivia to join the team again, and she was like repeating all the other stuff that Fitz basically told her at the Rose Garden in season 2. Can't breathe without you, that function without you, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, like I don't know. Again, I can't trust Melly because what it looks like from today, it looks like Melly just basically saying, okay, this is Olivia and Fitz's thing, but I'm not even gonna fall for that because that woman always is 2, 3, 4 chess moves ahead of everybody, trying to get whatever she wants to get. And then
and you're right, because remember she said to what did she say? She said that as long as Saint Olivia Pope was alive, that she would always be Fitz's weakness. And she could use a weakness against him.
Actually,
so you are absolutely right.
But you know what? Now that you say that, now beyond just that Melly Olivia moment, I actually, you know what? The game changer actually came in the beginning when old boy came in there and just told her, you're a shrew. You basically need to screw your husband. And I think
you don't want nothing to do with that. When she was drunk last episode, or episode
she was trying to throw it at him on the table.
She's like, "Do you want to have sex?" I mean,
right.
Me?
So,
like,
so
no.
Right. He's like, no, not really.
Not even drunk sex.
Right. She's like, he said,
I'm gonna try that one time.
Wow.
Make my speech and walk out the room.
And turn off the lights and leave him sitting in the dark. Leave him sitting in the dark. But yeah, I think actually that's probably between that moment in the Oval Office trying to convince that guy and him basically saying, you're a losing team and there's nothing I can do for you. And then, like you said, her hearing how Fitz was different with Olivia. Because the thing is, that was a game changer for all of us when we realized that in the first season, that she knew all along.
Yeah, that was a game changer then.
And so
Oh
then,
yeah, in the elevator or something.
right,
And I think all the hostility actually comes from the fact that Olivia stopped being that for Fitz.
right,
Because she felt guilty. I feel like the whole thing was a big misunderstanding. If you had just let me know I could have sex with your husband way back then we wouldn't have all this hoopla and
Right.
drama. I would
Right.
feel real comfortable getting it in the closet or on the floor, wherever Fitz wanted me at, you know, all of that.
Right.
That would
Right.
make more sense.
because I think what pissed Melly off to begin with the whole situation is when it went public with Amanda Tanner. I think that's where she first.
Oh yeah, because she was embarrassed. She's like, you let somebody not on the team get in his pants.
Right.
And Amanda Tanner never got in his pants.
Right. But she didn't know that and still doesn't know that. And the thing about it is that, you know, you're right. This was our close knit circle because that's basically what she said tonight. Basically she almost said we're a family.
Mm-hmm.
We're a family.
Dysfunctional and strange and
right.
Angry.
but we had chemistry, and I want to get back to the way we were.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, what?
This is total 360 from last episode. Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. There's no reason to trust her because you know she has something up her sleeve. Where Fitz, I feel like Fitz already told us step 1 and step 2. There's still another couple of steps. I don't think he even knows that Rowan is Olivia's father. I really don't. Some people say that he may, but I honestly don't think he does.
I don't think he does. And
I don't think he's either.
Because I think if he did, he would have addressed it already.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, when you're talking about not trusting Melly and what she might have up her sleeve.
Don't trust Jake.
I really wouldn't be surprised if Melly throws a monkey wrench in the whole situation, and the next thing we know, Sally's running for president and Melly's her running mate. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I would not be surprised at all. That I wouldn't be surprised by.
That is some crazy betrayal right there.
Mm-hmm.
What scene would you have? Go ahead.
Because again, she already put it out there. She is your Achilles heel, and I will use her in any possible way to make you dance. And if that means that she would run as Sally's running mate, and then pull that trigger on him, because she's already tried it once.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if she did it again.
Why are you shaking your head, Jazzy? What do you think?
Why did she make him dance?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure her out.
You still trying to figure her out?
I really don't know. I don't trust her.
What scene would you have taken out or extended from this episode?
It's just that, huh?
What scene would you have taken out or extended from this episode?
I'm still trying to figure out who Abby's husband is.
Abby's husband is a powerful political guy, and that was told in the episode where I don't remember the numbers. Katrina's
right. I remember
like episode 3-12.
Right. I remember that her husband was a political. Her husband was from a political family, but I mean, I was just trying to. I flipped back, you know, because it was on TiVo, so I flipped back and I'm like scanning the room because when they mentioned that that was the reason she didn't go. I'm like, well, who could it be? Who could it be? And so that's something I would have liked, but you know, I'm sure to be revealed later. But I wish that it had been
explored more. I think there's a reason it wasn't.
Right. I just wish it had been a more pointed situation where maybe Olivia saw him and recognized him or something, and you know, and then that's how we might have caught on of who it might be. But again, it's probably going to be a big reveal. You know, he was probably.
You know, they do that character profile every season.
It's going to be a review we're not going to respect.
Yeah, exactly. What moment would you have extended, Jazzy?
Your question again. Say that again. Sorry.
What scene would you have extended from tonight's episode?
What scene?
Mm-hmm. While you think about it, I would have extended the scene.
Yeah, let me think about it. Go ahead.
I would have extended the scene with more Quinn shade because I thought that was precious. When they were like, "We know what you did, drill girl." Like,
yeah.
You're on. What did they tell her? She was on.
Grounded. She's grounded.
She was grounded. You're grounded.
But I'm a little curious though about that eyeballing that gun.
She has that gun.
Because
you saw when Olivia walked out, she was like, I was like, Quinn, what is wrong with you?
Right.
She had the gun. She bought it.
Yeah, I know she bought it.
She exchanged a lot of stuff for it. So what did she, I think she exchanged like electronic equipment for it.
Right.
So why did she need to do that? It's almost like she has no money. Like, why would you
Because I'm like
pawn shopping?
And then I'm wondering who's she going to use it on.
She's pawning her Hupwear. What is that about? I don't understand.
Mm.
She doesn't have any enemies. I mean maybe her new boyfriend, because every boyfriend she gets dies. So maybe that's who she's gonna use it on.
Maybe she's gonna try to force Huck to talk to her because she's like he's freezing me out. He's freezing me out.
You're gonna talk to me.
You're like, yeah, drill girl, we heard about you. It's like, dang. And that stopped her cold, didn't it? Because she didn't think anybody else knew about that.
She did. She thought Huck had kept it to himself.
Yeah.
He's like, nope, Huck told us, we know. What scene would you have extended at Jazzy?
You talking to me? I'm sorry.
Yes!
Jazzy. Your voice keeps coming in and
Are you
out.
asleep over there? She's like, what? You talking to me? What scene would you have extended? I gave you some time. I talked about all kinds of stuff.
Which scene that I like?
Yeah, that you thought could be lengthened during the episode.
I'm trying to recall now. There was so
Jazzy.
many.
I just gave you like a good 15 minutes to think about it, and you like, it's so many, girl. I don't know what I was over here doing.
Oh my gosh, my brain is like in a fog.
I'm sure it is like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my brain would be in the fog too.
Is it?
No.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just playing.
Okay. I gotta be up in. Look, I'm like I gotta be up in 4 hours. Okay.
Okay, so I'll just keep it moving because Jazzy is still thinking.
Yes.
Who are your MVPs? I always say that. MVPs this episode. Your most valuable people this episode. Like, who did you stand for this? Because for me, my favorite person this episode was probably going to be... I actually liked Harrison this episode. Usually I don't. I usually don't. I don't stand for Harrison. People tell you. Because they always say, you hating on him? No.
But actually,
seemed to have purpose.
Yeah, actually, it's it was a tie between him and Huck because they both kind of pulled that out their butts, getting that.
Huck did good this episode. He
catching that. Like, okay, the news crew is out front. What do we do? And they snatched that right out from under old boy. They literally poked him. Poked him. Because I was like, how are they gonna fix this? But as soon as he told them about that little standing reservation, that was it. Are they coming to get you, Jazzy? I hear all them sirens in the background.
Like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. Who was your MVP this episode, Jazzy?
I'm gonna go back and pick what's his face? Ethan, only because he said my favorite line of the night. You've
been poked. Mm-hmm. Who is your least favorite?
Ooh.
Yes.
You want to go, Jazzy?
That's it.
She's like, I ain't got nothing else to say. Who is your least favorite? Your least favorite person this episode?
Oh, who's my least? Oh, it's the same one it is every week.
Who?
Even though she was well behaved today because she was on punishment.
Oh, Quinn. People do not like Quinn. They do not like Quinn.
Yeah. But why is she going? She just misbehaving. She should have just let me be quiet because I probably can't say what I want to say.
You can say whatever you want to say on this podcast,
but,
girls. We're not going to send you to scandal jail. We are fine.
It's live and uncut.
I'm gonna be a good girl.
I would have to say that my least favorite this week was the Congresswoman, just simply because it's like you hired Olivia for a reason because you know her reputation and the one thing that she told you to do, you refused to do, and then it ended up coming back and biting you in your ass and putting you in a situation where, yes, you did ruin a relationship with your sister slash daughter. This is like reminds me of Chinatown. My sister, my daughter, my sister, my daughter. Ooh, see, that just.
She just threw a temper tantrum after like she was 12 because she didn't like what she heard.
It's just
how
emotions. Yeah, you have to give it to her, Langstan. That's just emotions. She's a woman.
Yeah.
It's a woman thing. I would have been mad at Olivia too because it was just basically misplaced anger. But at the same time, you need to know how to control that, especially when you're in that kind of office.
Yeah.
So it was her fault. It wasn't Olivia's situation. She told her what to do. She just didn't want to listen to it.
And unfortunately, she may lose her.
I mean, she shouldn't have fired her, and then she wouldn't have lost her.
Right, but now it's like they're, because Melly jumped on that, didn't she? That's the one thing I can say is that
she's an opportunist.
That was the word I was about to use. The one thing I can say about her is that she is an opportunist, and ultimately, like Jazzy said, can't say that I trust her because she is such an opportunist that. She's willing to let her. Well, obviously, she let him sleep with her before, full knowing, and now here we go again for round 2, and it just makes me wonder. That's one of the criticisms that people have about the show, about the whole adultery situation. But this is it's a gray area with this show. There is no black and white.
No, it's not.
I mean,
I felt bad for Melly though.
Literally
at that door, listening to Fitz talk to Olivia, it was very sad to me. Like you could see, because people to me they think that Melly doesn't love Fitz, but I think she does.
She does.
It may be a twisted, warped kind of love, but she does love him.
Right.
So it was a little heart wrenching to see her standing there, almost. You can
humble.
tell she just wants. She wants him to want to be with her like that, and it's just kind of sad.
Right, but if she can't hit, but the thing is what's greater, her love for Fitz or her love for
ambition?
Yeah, her ambition.
Yeah,
and when I say there is no black and white, I didn't mean there, because clearly there is Fitz and Olivia, but but the black, but when I say gray area, I just mean like the situation is gray because we know what the situation is between him and Melly. But, is the fact that the wife condones it, does that justify it? And I think that's the thing that people struggle with, but at the same time, it's compelling storytelling, though.
It is, and it's always going to be a moment where, just like I told you, Olivia has these eyes, and it's like going into the abyss of. She looks at people with them big old eyes, and they just do anything she asks them to do. And she starts that lip quiver, and you get all Puss in Boots on her. I don't know. Olivia is something else. My least favorite character this episode was Quinn. And it's because Quinn, it's kind of a toss-up between Quinn and Jake, because I don't like Jake. I just never see it for him. I tried to change it up this episode and give you all somebody different, but it was Quinn. I thought it was interesting that to take a break, the president wanted to play basketball with Jake. I guess that was more to enforce the fact that he knew that Jake was investigating this situation. Although how he knew, I don't know. How'd y'all think he figured it out? Fitz figured out that Jake was investigating the situation.
Because
the situation with Remington.
I think that because
the IP address?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Goldwyn knew someone was looking, and he told them as soon as he figured out who that IP address belonged to, and I guess they figured out it was Jake.
And didn't somebody also pass a file? I thought I remembered.
Rowan had a file.
Right, and he showed it to him. That's what it was. Remember when they were in the office with the camera, when Huck was watching it on video. And then they kind of melded into putting us into the room with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he actually pulled out a file, and so he showed it to him. So That's how he knew. That's how he knew.
Who's the character that you can relate to the most this episode? Do you have one, Jazzy? Who is the character you can relate to the most this episode?
But tonight,
Yep.
for me, it was Jake.
Really?
It was Jake because, yeah.
Look, I did the same thing. We made the same face at the same time. I was like, what?
Why?
It was just that one particular scene when he took Olivia to the ball or the party, and he escorted her to the party, but Olivia's diverting all her attention to the president, like giving him looks and stuff, and it finally goes off in the back room. Essentially, Jake was alone the entire time when you really think about it. And then when he left the party, he told Olivia, well, you're going home by yourself. You didn't come to hang out with me. You came to see the president. Like, I totally fucked him on that because even I was thinking, dang, at least act like you're having a good time with Jake. So, yeah.
Why? Why is there even a necessity to act like you are having a good time with Jake? Jake is a troll, and he lives in the hole. I think there is no reason to pretend to be having a good time with Jake.
Next week I might be back on somebody else. This week is Jake.
You know what? For some reason, I have no idea why. Olivia's playing this line, and to me, it's just ridiculous. Like, why are you throwing the Fitz phone in the trash when you just went to, you later on go to the presidential ball, and you give him your panties virtually from the seat that you're sitting in across the room to the podium as he is speaking, and Jake is sitting right there. This Negro knows. And so even when they had the conversation on the basketball court, and when Jake started talking, and Fitz was like, "You talking about Olivia?" No, Fitz wasn't thinking. I think that's how he knew. Wait a minute. I think that's how Fitz knew, because he was talking about Olivia and Jake was talking about Remington. So
he was like, I wasn't talking about
right. So that's how I knew. Sorry, y'all. I just went on a small rant, but in my head, there's no justification for Jake. Jake should not be there. Olivia shouldn't be kissing him, tonguing him, giving up the draws to him. None of that. I just find it disgusting.
At the end of the day, Jake has about as much as long as there's that chemistry between Fitz and Olivia. Jake has about as much chance as Senator Mr. Edison. He has about as much chance, because if she was engaged to him once, although it was to slap Daddy's hand. She was engaged to him once, then she got engaged to him twice, and she kicked him to the curb the second time. So if he couldn't hold on to her and they had history, she doesn't have that much history with Jake.
And Jazzy, let me just say, penis is always available. Okay, penis is always available. There's no penis. Okay, penis is always available. Having sex with Jake is no excuse for her to be giving up panties to this troll. I just don't get it. Like, no, that's not. I know women have been saying that, because that's the second time I've heard that on this podcast, that she's having sex with Jake because he's available. But look, I'm sorry. I would rather sleep with Huck. I'm sorry. I just can't. I am totally 0% attracted to Huck, but I'm negative 0% attracted to Jake. Jake is disgusting. Like, you giving up your panties to a stalker. This Negro was stalking you. I mean, seriously? What's wrong with you? He was literally like, look at your drawers. I mean, no, I can't do it. I can't, sir. I'm not giving you any draws. It's over.
Okay.
So what was your favorite outfit from tonight's episode? I know I got your attention now, Jazzy. You talking about fashion, girl. What was your favorite outfit from tonight?
My favorite what?
Outfit. Clothes. Who was your favorite fashionista for tonight?
That's a no-brainer.
I don't want to state the obvious. I'm trying to think of a different outfit.
I'm just asking.
There was no other. Come on now.
Langstan like, stop playing.
You can sit there all night. You can sit there all night and think about it. What? No other outfit on there.
I liked it when she was in the room with Melly and she stood with that pose.
Oh,
With
the
her hands on her
pearls.
hips,
She had on her pearls.
She
Katrina swears by the pearls.
And the things was up and then now that we know she's pregnant, the girls were out. So it was, she wore that dress, so it was nice.
Yeah.
Go Olivia.
Yeah, that's hands down, that was the outfit of the night. It was just like, she looked, Kerry always looks good anyway. But yeah, when she walked up with that, the asymmetrical hair and the black and white, it was just like, I actually wasn't paying attention to anybody else on the screen. I'm sorry, there was just
she got the walk on,
and then she sealed it because that was the walk that we saw in the promo, but we didn't know where she was walking to. But but then
her full rendezvous with Fitz.
Right, but the full the dress coupled with the walk that we thought was going to be the walk of shame afterwards, which turned out not to be. That the idea that she was strutting on her way to see Fitz kind of added to that. It kind of added to that whole essence of that dress that she was wearing.
Are we ever going to talk about Abby and
David? Abby and David.
Dabby.
Talk about complicated.
Yeah, that is complicated. But at least now he knows why she turned him down to go into the ball. Because of course that was one of the reasons why they broke up in the first place, was because she thought that David was an abusive,
that girl. Yeah.
Right. That he was abusive and she couldn't tolerate that. And so now when he was like, you know what, I'm tired of getting rejected by you, and then to finally, get that understanding.
Do you think that there's any reason why she initially, because remember last episode, she really didn't want to have, she was kind of on the fence about dealing with David again. And do you think there's any reason to that? Like, what's the reason that she could have possibly been on the fence last episode with actually, being with him and ended up in bed with him, and now this episode kind of still playing coy? Because you can see that in the car scene too, when she was in the car.
I think she still felt something for him, but she also still feels guilty about having betrayed him, because she did stone cold betray him by stealing that card.
Well, she's a part of OPA. He should have expected that. That's what they do. I mean, they're not going to sacrifice OPA for you.
But right, he should have been smart enough to not leave it in his safe, and leave her alone in there, knowing that she works for OPA. But yeah, it was a bit of a betrayal. It's like, it's when you trust somebody like he was clearly trusting her, and then they betray you. I think she still has a little bit of guilt behind it.
Okay, what do you think she's saying, Jazzy?
They just got one complicated relationship. Like, I couldn't do it. I mean,
could you do any other relationships on Scandal?
This is the woman that turned in the Cytron card, got him in trouble to lose his job, and he got his life back, and he takes her back, and everything's all hunky-dory again. Like,
oh, yeah, that is true. That is kind of weird.
You have to remember that deception, too.
All for some vagina.
He was spying on Olivia, so, like, where exactly are her loyalties,
Now that I think about it, Jazzy, you are absolutely right. I think the women of OPA, if I was a dude, I wouldn't sleep with none of them, because there's clearly dynamite in their vagina or something that is going to. I mean, you got Killer Quinn with her killer vagina. You go in there, it's like the Venus flytrap. You're going to die.
Drilling McDrillerson.
Yes. And let's talk about how many times Abby breaks into David's apartment. She don't have a key. She always ended up inside his apartment. He opened the door and there she is. Tonight, there she was.
That is kind of true. That is true. Jazzy's like, I got the inside girl.
I do have a question though, but do you guys foresee there being something between Quinn and Huck?
No.
You don't.
But I do think she feels kind of betrayed that he's not speaking to her in the way that he used to with the openness. But he's trying to protect her from being what he is. Right. So, and I don't think she sees that or respects it. So.
Because trust,
Queen wants it. Queen wants it so bad, and she figured if Hawkins is gonna give it to her, or Hawkins is gonna show her, she's just gonna go about it herself, which is why she got that gun.
Right. And
but who's it for?
I wouldn't be surprised if Daddy ends up recruiting her, because if he catches wind of her having these aspirations, Rowan
That's what I said last episode.
Rowan might recruit her. Yeah. Because
that was so epic last week when he told her, "You need to stop asking questions."
Oh,
like, you know, Huck don't explode. He's like the epitome of calm, and he just blows up.
Yeah, he's like, I'm taking appropriate social cues.
that was.
I'm responding. It's like,
she's such a robot.
That was one of those. There was one of those Shonda Rhimes air sucking scenes where it just sucks all the air out of the room. Because when he came flying back around that corner, I was like,
I didn't expect.
No, I didn't either. Not the way he did. But he snapped out. But
so we're gonna wrap this up. But tell me how you think this episode serves the show's larger plot.
Well, I definitely see the larger picture being the election cycle, but I don't know if it really gave us any more insight into Remington.
I think. Go ahead.
Right. I was like, I guess they're just kind of piecemealing it out, and ultimately when they do finally reveal it, then we'll be extra shocked. But I'm just right now, the idea of him having piloted or not piloted a plane isn't enough for me yet. So I'm just.
But it wasn't the piloting. They said that Fitz shot down the plane. Do y'all recall hearing that, or is that just me?
No, I just remember hearing that he wasn't there at all. That's the question. That's what was in question, was the fact that whether he was there at all, because he wasn't there until the next day. I remember Jake saying something about him not being there until the next day. So how could... No, it wasn't about him. It was about the other guy, right? When he said the guy wasn't even there. He didn't even come in until the next day. So whatever happened was the fault of Fitz, but we still don't know what that is. And I don't know. I'm not excited about it yet.
I think Fitz shot down the plane and killed Olivia's mom. That's what I think. What do you think, Jazzy? And I think that's going to serve the plot because I believe that it's going to serve as a wedge between Olivia and Fitz. What do you think, Jazzy?
Yeah, because I think they got...
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's the case, then that would go a lot towards the animosity that Rowan feels towards Fitz, and that whole concept that he said, you open your legs to a man who has too much power. So whatever happens, I think that's what he refers to, as the fact that not that he has power as a president, but that his family had enough clout or whatever to get him out of whatever that situation was and cover it up, and then also have him be a part of the cover up.
But I think Rowan is the one that probably initiated it. I think Rowan actually was the force behind Olivia's mom dying, because according to the way Olivia is talking about her mother, her and her dad weren't together. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all don't recall listening to this when she says, "Mom always told me about you. She told me to be wary of you," basically, and that's the way she was raising me, and the woman I am today is all due as a credit to my mother. And he was like, no, it's a credit to me, and she was like, you're like me, you have my blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of think that Fitz had something to do with the death of Olivia's mom, and it's going, because there are no more barriers to entry right now, because Melly is saying, go right ahead, be with my man, I'm fine with it, I just want y'all to win-win, sis boom ba. So if Melly's not the issue and she's not throwing up a fuss, who is now going to be the issue? It has to be something that Fitz has done that Olivia doesn't know about. And it's ironic because
Yeah.
I don't think Fitz knows that Rowan is Olivia's father. So
Right. Right. And and at the same time, I don't know, because we thought that the idea of her sleeping with Jake and the idea of him killing Berna was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back for both, but then they're still drawn to each other. So
There's still
yeah,
more, yeah.
but yeah,
She's not done.
I'm I want to think that if she found out that he had something to do with her mother's death, that she would let him go, but I don't know.
I don't think she will. I just think that it would be a barrier. Like it would be another hurdle, like to place in their path, a reason for them not to ever really truly be together, but to just continue to long for each other, make moony eyes across the room, and have us being like, oh.
Yeah. Like Simba and Nala. Oh. Always giving the
back
eye.
to the Lion King.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for my questions. Do you all have any further thoughts or anything else you want to say before we wrap it on up?
Well, I just want to say thank you.
Oh, what'd you say?
What?
All roads leads to Rowan.
Okay. Did you
last season it was all roads leads to Fish. So forget the president now. It's command. He's running everything.
Oh, he did
Who's
kind of.
command's boss? That's what I want to know.
You know what? Before I say my final whatever, but I will say that Rowan did shut Fitz down. When Fitz tried to put his foot up, tried to put his foot in Rowan's ass. Rowan turned around and twisted his foot and snatched it up in his ass.
Rowan didn't even care. Rowan was
like, "You don't run shit."
Get off my phone.
He said, "You don't." He said, "You don't run shit up in here."
Rowan didn't even blink. Rowan was like, "What? What you say?" Alright, yeah, I'm out.
He said, "You don't run shit." He basically said, "You don't run shit," and hung up.
He didn't even blink. He just kept typing or doing whatever he was doing.
And then the music that played after, as Fitz just kind of sat there holding the phone, like da da da.
Like plum idiots.
Like, you know what? Shonda should have just put in wah wah. Because it was just like he was still holding the phone when they went to commercial.
You know how they do that Charlie Brown thing where the teacher's talking and going, they should just done that because
that's all Rowan heard. That's all Rowan heard.
I was like, wah 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 with this
wah 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 wah. Yeah,
but you know what we didn't talk about? This episode did talk a lot about more cattle, less bull, more meat, but less bullshit. Like, everybody was on that same page. Like, David didn't want the BS from Abby. Huck didn't want the BS from Quinn. Everybody was on that same page. Jake didn't want the BS from Olivia. It was pretty good. And then you had the meat with Melly coming to Olivia and saying, "This is what I want." Then you had more meat with Lisa Kudrow trying to, pull Olivia back into the campaign and being in the campaign and all that stuff. So it was pretty good. I liked the episode. I haven't said that about many. This is the second episode I've said this season that I like, and that's very rare because I was disappointed with episodes 1, 2, and 3. This third one, this fourth and fifth one have kind of made up for that. But I think it's also because I'm not live tweeting anymore, because before I was live tweeting and it just didn't feel good. Now I'm just like, shut down the live tweets till the commercials, and then I'll say something in the scandal stream, and that's about it. So yeah.
Right. Well, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to do this. It was a lot, of fun. Definitely a lot of fun.
You. You're welcome anytime.
And you're wide awake.
Who, me? Lord.
Jazzy sleep.
You're wide awake. It's like 3 o'clock. Where you at?
No, he's like 2 hours behind us, 2 or 3 hours behind us.
Yeah, I'm in Chicago. I think. What time is it with you guys?
It's 12:42.
Ooh, yep. I'm an hour behind you.
It's 11:42 for him. So thank you all for being here. I truly enjoyed it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I like anytime, just hit me up and I'll come on. And
No
see, and
problem.
now that you've taught me all about Google,
The
I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
fickleness of Google Hangouts.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Jazzy, it was lovely to have you on. We were supposed to hook up during the summer, and now I finally got you here. Yay!
Yay! Thanks so much for having me.
Y'all have a good night, and I truly appreciate it.
You too.